Hello, welcome to Complete Chiropractic Healthcare on the website of Dr. Greg Arnold, www.pitchingdoc.com. Today we're going to be going over my December 3rd, 2015 newsletter, How to Properly Strengthen Your Throwing Arm in the Weight Room. So if you look underneath the date, there's a PDF link to this document. Usually it's easier to read. So by this time in November and December, hopefully your pitchers or your son players are hard at work in the weight room trying to get stronger for next year, because it's about getting stronger to stay healthy. Hopefully they're strengthening the tendons, muscles, ligaments, getting the joints a chance to recover from throwing the baseball. But it's important to know that there are muscles that you can train to stay healthier, but there are also muscles that if you do try to train them, they can actually increase your risk of injury. So we're going to go over the muscle to train and the muscle to leave alone. So the most important muscle in the arm to strengthen is the triceps muscle. Again, we're dealing with the arm, not the shoulder. So if you look at here, the diagram on the left, the triceps is the muscle in the upper arm that's in the back. And when we look at this document on the right, which is a measure of muscle contraction during the acceleration phase when we're throwing the baseball, which is when your arm is coming through to the release point, we see that the triceps muscle goes through a complete maximal contraction. It works about as hard as it can possibly work to throw the baseball. Now this muscle over here on the right, which is SERRAT, that's called the serratus, and that's a muscle in the shoulder. So that we're going to get to that a different day. But right now we're focusing on the fact that the triceps is the hardest working muscle in the arm. So it's very important to strengthen that muscle. So if we want to take a look at, well, what muscle do we want to leave alone? We want to leave the biceps muscle alone. And if we look at the graph up here, we see that the biceps is actually the least hardest working muscle in the arm when throwing the ball. So while it contributes pretty much next to nothing in terms of throwing the baseball, it can have a big role in causing problems if the biceps is tight from training it in the weight room. Now if we look at this diagram on the right, you'll see that one of the tendons of the bicep comes up through the groove in the arm, and it attaches at the top of the shoulder pocket, which is called the labrum, right here. So there's the labrum right at the top of the pocket at this moment right there. And what happens is that when the biceps is tight, it will cause major problems over the course of a season. If we look at the pitching motion from when we're in our late cocking phase here to the release point here, we go from a moment when the biceps is shortened to a moment when the biceps is lengthened. And this happens in 1/10 of a second. And it's the fastest motion in all of human sports. The throwing arm turns 20 circles in 1 second. Okay, so it's 1/10 of a second that we have this motion. Well, how fast is 1/10 of a second? It's pretty much the blink of an eye. And if the biceps is tight from training or lack of flexibility over the course of a couple months, the shoulder will get injured, where the shoulder will tear, and you'll get what's called a slap lesion. You have rotator cuff tears and you have slap lesions. They're two different things. So it's very important to have an appropriate weight training program when you're a pitcher or a catcher or just any kind of baseball player in general. And this is what I've done in my baseball library. So if you go to this link at the top of the banner on my website, it'll take you to this page, and you can watch a 1-minute video on what's in the baseball library. You'll see that I have video demonstrations, PowerPoint presentations, handouts, and once, if you want to go ahead and subscribe, you can go to the store and you could pay through the website right here. So once you get access to the baseball video library, you will have all of these presentations on the right side: long toss, conditioning, throwing drills, bullpen, pitching philosophy. So the one that we're going to discuss today is the weight room. And what you'll see in the weight room presentation is that there are upper body exercises to focus on, exercises to stay away from, video demonstrations. So it's an extremely valuable presentation for kids who are looking to get into the weight room but don't want to hurt their shoulder. So hope you found this presentation valuable. If you have any questions, please send me an email. You can give me a call, or you can go ahead and visit my website at www.pitchingdoc.com. Thank you.